is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
First reading. A reading from the first book of Samuel, chapter 15, verses 16 to 23. Samuel said to Saul, "Stop, let me tell you what the Lord said to me last night." Saul replied, "Speak." Samuel then said, "Though little in your own esteem, are you not leader of the tribes of Israel? The Lord anointed you king of Israel and sent you on a mission, saying, 'Go and put the sinful Amalekites under a ban of destruction. Fight against them until you have exterminated them.' Why then have you disobeyed the Lord? You have pounced on the spoil, thus displeasing the Lord." Saul answered Samuel, "I did indeed obey the Lord and fulfill the mission on which the Lord sent me. I have brought back Agag, and I have destroyed Amalek under the ban. But from the spoil the men took sheep and oxen, the best of what had been banned, to sacrifice to the Lord their God in Gilgal." But Samuel said, "Does the Lord so delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices, as in obedience to the command of the Lord? Obedience is better than sacrifice, and submission than the fat of rams. For a sin like divination is rebellion, and presumption is the crime of idolatry. Because you have rejected the command of the Lord, He too has rejected you as ruler." The word of the Lord.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Mark, chapter 2, verse 18 to 22. The disciples of John and of the Pharisees were accustomed to fast. People came to Jesus and objected, "Why do the disciples of John and the disciples of the Pharisees fast, but your disciples do not fast?" Jesus answered them, "Can the wedding guests fast while the bridegroom is with them? As long as they have the bridegroom with them, they cannot fast. But the days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast on that day. No one sews a piece of unshrunken cloth on an old cloak. If he does, its fullness pulls away the new from the old, and the tear gets worse. Likewise, no one pours new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise, the wine will burst the skins, and both the wine and the skins are ruined. Rather, new wine is poured into fresh wineskins." The Gospel of the Lord.
My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, in today's first reading, which is taken from the first book of Samuel, we see how the first king of Israel, King Saul, disobeyed God the Yahweh. God the Yahweh asked King Saul to destroy Amalekites completely. But Saul and his people, they captured leaders of Amalekites, and they spared the lives of fat oxen and sheep. My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, when Prophet Samuel was sent to Saul to question why he spared the lives of fat oxen and sheep, in return he replied saying, "I want to sacrifice them to God the Yahweh." But Samuel replied him saying, "God takes much delight in those who abide by His commandments and laws than those who offer sacrifice." What is pleased to God is to follow His commandments and to do His will in our lives. Dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, in the Old Testament we see how Jews offered various types of sacrifices to God. They offered first fruits to their God and to our God. And they offered burnt offerings. They offered sheep, ram, and bulls. But on the other hand, they did not follow the Decalogue, the 10 Commandments. They did not respect their parents. They worship local gods. They stole from their neighbor. They committed adultery. And the justice was not done for poor, widow, orphans, and marginalized. My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, even in our lives, we used to offer so many things to our God. We pay tithe. We give first fruits to our God. And we make a lot of offerings as a sign of our gratitude towards God. That is something good. But unfortunately, while making these sacrifices, we do not follow His commandments. We violate Decalogue. Therefore, today, the good Lord repeats the words that He uttered to King Saul in and through Samuel. I take much delight on those people who follow my commandments than those who make burnt offerings and other sorts of offerings. What is required from each and every one of us is to follow His commandments. If we follow His commandments, then we have a right and we are in a better disposition to offer our sacrifices to God. Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, let us make a sincere effort to follow God's commandments, especially the 10 Commandments, Decalogue. And in the second place, let us try to follow the commandments which have been prescribed by the Holy Catholic Church, so that we would be able to offer our homage and we would be able to offer sacrifices to God with a sincere heart. Amen.